Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another session of Pastor Doug's virtual VIP midweek study. Uh, Please welcome my good friend here, maybe one of my best friends. I'd say one of my best friends for sure, Doug Purin. Known you how many years?
Since what, 73?
Yeah, you weren't that tall in 73.
I wasn't. No, I grew in high school.
No, we've been friends for a long time, and I so much enjoy sharing our ministry ideas and thoughts with Doug. And as we are in our first week of the officially of the campaign on what on earth am I here for, we want to talk a little bit about the message I just shared with you this past week about that, and hopefully have an understanding of where we were going with it. You know, God is our creator. There's not much question about that. I think in most minds of those that are joining us, some may have some questions, but God is our creator, and every creator has control and power in what they created and why they did it. If you were watching or tuned in last week, I went down and looked at a chair. We had a chair sitting there, and it's made for you to sit in. It has a handle for moving it around and stacking it up and things like that. And so there was special thought that went into that creation. And clearly, if you look at the humans that we are, we're made in the image of God. We've got a lot of abilities and a lot of really interesting characteristics about our design, and clearly have a purpose behind all that. And I wanted to just share with you and jump right into Ephesians 1:4. And listen to this word of God. This is a message from God. It says, long before he laid down the earth's foundations, he had us in mind. So that clearly says before the earth was created, we were in mind. God had us in the plan. And so what I think happened is he was planning us, so then he made the earth and the world fit for what we would need. Think about this, that we had the oxygen that we needed to live. I love this concept that the earth is tilted on its axis, could be 1 degree either way, and we would either freeze to death or burn up. I mean, that's pretty much creation.
It is. And that fits into the category that a lot of the apologists I listen to talk about the fine tuning of the universe. It's not just that 1 degree, which is significant and huge, but the entire universe, our solar system. Think about the orbit and the fact that our planets and the moons, we don't collide with each other. And the fact that I believe it's Jupiter is so large, the gravitational pull is so great that it's kind of like the vacuum cleaner for our solar system. It takes most of that stuff that's flying around that might hit us and actually be an extinction level event and sucks it up towards Jupiter. So all these things, couldn't happen all by themselves. Not by
Well, and
chance.
think about that. Think about that. We kind of close our lives and our world in when we think about creation to what we can see and what's right around us. And we're even looking now at the personal relationship of my personal purpose in life. But when you think about the other planets and God in his creative power, all of that is going on too, in addition to these little measly lives that we have on this earth for 60, 70, 80, 90 years. It can boggle your mind if you think about the greatness and vastness that God is involved in and God is in charge of. And it's really exciting to me to think about that. So then my point is that if there's a special attention given to us, how important might it be that we're able to find our purpose? Does it matter? Is it a big deal? How would you feel? How would you feel, Doug, if you were the creator and you created all these great people with all of this plan and purpose going into it, and most of them seem to not be too worried about what that purpose was?
Yeah, it would be very disappointing, first of all. And if I were, I'm not, but if I were creative and I came up with some idea or an invention and people were not using it properly, I think, wait a minute, guys, that's not what it's made for. Maybe they can improve upon it. We can't improve upon ourselves. We can't improve upon our universe. God did all that, and it's perfect. We may not agree with some things or like some things, but it's beyond our ability and our little finite human minds.
God says in Isaiah 44, I am your creator. You were in my care even before you were born. We were just talking, and I'm going to share this. We were just talking before our little session here about a lot of times you hear me say, hey, if God is your creator, if he really did have a plan and a purpose for your life, And Doug shared that, what if somebody's new kind of looking in or at the service and says, man, the pastor even saying if maybe we need to clarify that a little bit more. And I want to do that. Clearly, I believe in God and I believe He is the creator, and trying to qualify that, hey, maybe you don't quite believe in that. But see, as we develop and as we move through, and all of these questions I've said, what am I here for? What am I supposed to be doing? See, we need to advance past a lot of these front level, elementary type of questions about what we're clearly here for a purpose. We clearly know, I think, with our conscience that we have, we kind of know how we should be living. It even comes down to, well, am I going to go to church this Sunday or not? Am I going to go do this thing that's coming up or something I could go do, or am I going to be in church to build my spiritual life? I think we really need to take a step back and evaluate what is important in our lives. What really, really matters to you? What is the long-term picture? Now, we always hear short-term, long-term. My short-term goals today is where am I going to have lunch? And how am I going to get through all these meetings? And I got phone calls I got to make. My long-term picture is for me as I'm thinking about, well, I've got the hunting coming up soon, not too long. We got Thanksgiving and all these events coming. What's the church looking at? And then longer terms are years down the road. But listen, the clock is ticking on our responsibilities and our jobs and what we're supposed to be doing with our lives.
Sure. As we try to discover what our individual purpose is for our lives, we think in terms of our daily lives. We've got a to-do list. I've got a job. I've got this. And sometimes I'm overwhelmed. Sometimes I can't get it all done. Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot that. Oh, sorry, honey. And before you know it, you think, God, how could God have thought of all of this stuff when I can barely get through the day? He thought of all this stuff. You, me, our creation, the entire universe, everything on this planet, in the universe, He thought about that and then created it. So when we think about how big our God is or how big our problem is, obviously we don't think our God's big enough. Big God, small problems. Big problems, small God. And then we look at the purpose. Our purpose, a lot of times in this society, seems to be pleasure. We seek the pleasureful moments, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when that's all you do, go from event to pleasure to happiness and seeking all that's not a fulfilling, purposeful life. That's a human, fleshly desire in our lives.
I think, Doug, that is a real key. And as a pastor, I like to think about things. And let's say, and you guys know I'm a football guy. I love football and I like strategies and thinking about it. And one of the things I've been watching on Monday Night Football, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are doing the telecast besides the actual game going on. And they're commenting as former quarterbacks of what's happening and what the teams are thinking about and what they're looking at, which is really, really interesting for anybody who wants to follow that. But as you're watching that and you're thinking about the strategies going on there, what I want to point out is the strategy that goes on against you in your personal life, in your personal Christian life, in your growth, is being strategized by the devil. By the evil one is strategizing against you full time, all the time. And here's kind of how it might work. It's not necessarily, I say this all the time, the devil isn't going to get Pastor Doug to go down here and rob the bank. At lunchtime, I'm going to go rob the bank and I'm going to go across the street and steal somebody's car. That's not going to happen. But what's going to happen, or what can happen, is distractions can come my way. And okay, I'm a pastor, so pretty much on Sundays, I got to be here. That's right. That's kind of my job. I'm supposed to be here. But you guys aren't. You don't have to be. And what drives your church attendance? What drives your small group attendance? So what the devil's going to do is strategize against you to keep you away from this building, keep you away from the small groups, keep you away from praying, keep you away from the Bible, and do that by busyness a lot of times. Not going to get you to do the major sins maybe, but keep you away from the things that would be developing your personal Christian life.
Sure. And, Satan is not like God. He's not omnipresent. He's not everywhere. But he's got helpers. He's got his cast of demons, and they're out there. And like you said, there's always something that is sort of tugging at you. Do this, do that. And the right way isn't always the easy way, but it's always the best in the long run. What we do a lot of times is search for answers. And if we get to that point where we believe in God, and now we are learning about our purpose, if our purpose is truly about God, well, then our priorities should shift. Coming to church shouldn't be, well, I can squeeze it in this week, but not next week. It should be an automatic, and not an obligation or grudgingly. It should be something you look forward to. Think about that concert you go to or that Broadway show. Oh man, how'd you get that? Those tickets were sold out. I know somebody. Well, yeah. Whatever. You're so excited about it. You go, the people are screaming and yelling in excitement. Come to church, like, yeah, how you doing? You need to have that shift and have that some excitement to come here and worship and praise.
I think for me, I, like maybe many of you, maybe those tuning in, I was a good Christian person. I felt I was a Christian man. I raised my family that way. We attended church, and we did what you were supposed to do. But I never really got on fire, if you will, or really, really interested in my personal life and Christian life and who I was and who God intended for me to be. And so my challenge to you is to make the commitments to God solid, unquestioning, no room for error. Listen, I'm not talking about you can't go on vacation or you shouldn't go or you're going to miss here and there. I get it. You have to. You have to revive yourself. You have to recreate who you are by getting away. I'm going to do it in hunting season. I'm going to get away a little bit, and we all need to do that. But what I'm talking about is making the routine and the plan for church. The Sunday morning, this is what I do. If something else is a major problem that comes up or a situation or emergency that changes that, I get it. But challenge yourself today and you ask yourself, is that a priority for me? When I almost said, if God is our creator. God is our creator. He did create us with a plan and a purpose. And so, church, if you're a believer, if you sit here today and you call yourself a believer in Jesus Christ, then your church attendance needs to be a number one priority. And guess what? We are judged by our actions, not by what we say, not by what we intend or what we hope, but by what we do. And God's looking for you. We're looking for you. I'm not here to judge you. That's not my job. My job is to love you and encourage you. And tell you, look, if you really want to feel the growth that God has intended for you, if you really want to live within the purpose that He created you for, then you need to do your part, which is do the things, the steps, and the processes that help build your Christian life. Part of that is your church attendance. Part of that is a small group attendance. Part of that is your prayer and your Bible study life, your devotional life, how you handle that. I think it's so crucial that in our growth for just about anything, could be financial, could be relationships, it's about discipline. Are you disciplined when it comes to your Christian life? Are you disciplined when it comes to finding out your purpose and then fulfilling that purpose? Working in a ministry. I know so many talented people that for a time they did, and they did it for a while, and now they're not, or they're taking a break. And that's all okay. I get it. I understand we need that break. But we have talented people that God has ordained and purposed for these certain things that are inactive. And God's calling on you. I hope you hear that call. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I'm not trying to make anybody feel like, that they're doing any less than what they could have done or should have done. I'm just telling you that God of creation is a God of purpose and a God of plan and intent. And He has a plan and a purpose. And there's certain number of people that I'm responsible for, that I'm going to come in contact with. And if I'm not on duty, if I have my light off and hey, I'm off right now, I'm not interested in that right now, who misses out? Who loses out? We have to be careful. And we think so much about what's happening to Doug, but what about the influence that Doug might have to the people around him?
Mm-hmm. Sure. And all of you, all you men out there, need to step up, be role models, to lead your family, especially your children. If you don't go to church, do you think your children are going to go to church? Not a chance. So you have to make the effort and bring them with you and show them what it's all about.
As our church family, I know many of you are unable to attend, and I'm not preaching at you this morning. That's not what I'm trying to do. I love you. I'm thankful that you're able to tune in the way you do. But there's a lot of us that could do. How about this? We could do better.
Mm-hmm.
And let's make that commitment. I can do better. And I think everybody can always say that. I can do better. You know, years ago, I went to Robin and I said, I can do better. I can do better as a husband, and I'm going to do that. And she's kind of looking at me like, where is he coming from with that? But that's what I said. I said, I can do better, and I did do better, and I'm going to do better. And that's all I'm asking you to do. Think about that. Evaluate. The purpose of these little messages that we do for you is to help you think, to encourage you, to let you know that God is still in the game for you, still loves you. I know we went a little bit longer today than we normally go, but my message is strong. There is a purpose for your life. We have begun this process. We're getting through the questions, and we're going to start getting into the details of the 5 purposes that God has for your life. They're really exciting. You're going to love it. Thanks for tuning in, Doug. Thanks for helping out here today. God bless you, and I'm so anxious to see you either in the small group or on Sunday morning. God bless you, and you have a great day.